Well, I hope this one was worth the wait. It's been bloody ages. Alan Wake 2 picks up the story a few years after the events of the first game, and by a few I mean 13. Newcomers may be confused as to what's going on. It's not that the story isn't explained, it's just that, well...
I feel like I'm missing some context here.
Yeah, that. Some will be wondering who the hell Alan Wake even is. Or Thomas Zane. Anyway, there's a ritual murder out in the woods surrounding the town of Bright Falls. The FBI is called in to investigate, and in a big change from its predecessor, this one has less focus on combat and more focus on investigating. Finding clues and piercing the mystery together will be a main occupation, while creeping around in the dark, hoping something nasty resists the urge to jump out on you. There are two protagonists this time, Alan Wake, as mentioned in the title, and FBI agent Saga Anderson. Both play through their own areas entirely separately, but approaching the same mystery from different directions. Saga investigating the murders in the real world, while Wake is trapped in the dark place following the events of the first game. You'll spend a lot of time looking at a wall. This wall, inside Saga's mind place. This is where she pins all the clues she amasses, and the filing cabinet contains all the cases she works on, which changes which mass of clues actually appears on the wall. Most of the time, putting clues on the wall is fine, but sometimes it's hard finding the right place for it. Some players have reported getting stuck, because even though they knew what they were supposed to be interacting with, the game wouldn't necessarily let them unless they pieced all the clues together on the board first. In other words, they knew what to do, but their character didn't. Gotta say, this hasn't happened to me, but it's happened to enough other people I feel the need to mention it. Even if you don't want to engage with the clue wall, you have to. At least, I think you do. Sometimes when I check the board, it got filled in for me, because I'd already done the thing associated with it. I don't know if this is a patch in response to the issue. It might be, I suppose. Wake also has a wall. Well, he's got a chalkboard and a much simpler system. He finds story ideas and applies them to the locations he finds, changing their layout and allowing him to progress.
Go on, ma'am.
This is where the history of the cult gets genuinely disturbing. The cultists track down the torchbearers living in the tunnels. They lock the poor folks up in a derailed subway car, doused it in gasoline. Yeah.
Charming.
The hole had changed into the murder cult's hideout.
Alan Wake.
In the first game, each chapter was clearly divided into a day section and a night section. Here, well, I don't know why it's called Bright Falls, because it's either orange sunset or pitch black night. There is no daytime. Okay, there is at first, but after a while the safety of day is gone entirely. Entering certain areas causes night to descend within seconds, or at the least the dark to come flooding in, and invariably causes your character to draw their weapon. This is the first and only warning you'll receive that combat is imminent. Oh my goodness me.
The headline about Loco wasn't real.
Oh fuck!
The shadows faded out. Until they didn't. They were trying to stop me. With the gun and flashlight, I could fight back.
The idea of combat in this game makes me nervous. And not for any of the usual good reasons. As I say, combat is less frequent here than its predecessor. In fact, in the whole of the first chapter, you engage one enemy. Seriously, one! That's it! Ammunition is also scarce, but given the lack of enemies, that's not a problem. In fact, I never ran out of bullets. Surprisingly. As before, the enemies have a dark shield around them, which massively reduces all the damage they take. You're a moron if you empty entire clips into one of them. Which is why you use the flashlight to burn the shield away. However, this is where a slight change comes in. The torch no longer burns the shield away on contact. You now have to boost the torch to remove the shield. On top of that, the flashlight battery no longer recharges itself over time, meaning batteries are far more essential. I also have issues with the light itself. The battery needs changing now in the same way, in the exact same way, as a clip in a pistol needs reloading. But you don't get a say in the matter. It happens automatically. This can, and frequently did, interrupt anything else I was trying to do at the time. For example, I don't know, reloading a gun, dodging an attack, or shooting an enemy dead that was about to whack me round the head. It got on my soddy nerves after a while. Another problem with the light is when you aim and boost it, it doesn't always track the enemy you're aiming at, even with the auto lock. The camera shifts during the boost, and it takes a full battery segment to deplete a shield. So sometimes you'll have to use a second full charge to finish the job, which is a waste of battery charge you could really do without. Saga and Wake do encounter different challenges in a fight, however.
Hunting season was a bust. A bust.
Good job, Saga. Now keep moving.
Saga's fights are more typical of the first game. Shine the light, shoot the bad guy. Wake has similar fights, if you can tell where the enemy is, because they are dark shadows in a dark world. Great. Then, having spotted them, you've got to figure out which ones are actually dangerous. Some of them will only shove you backwards and can be dispelled by simply aiming the flashlight at them at very close range. Others are full-fledged enemies and will punish you for being stupid enough to get that close. Telling one type from the other is a constant issue. All the guns reload really slowly as well. That doesn't help. Yes, I think the combat has issues. Thank goodness it doesn't rely on it this time round. This takes a kind of open world approach to gameplay. Now, I'm a sucker for open world games, but I don't accept every game needs it. Here, to maintain a sense of challenge, enemies will spawn in certain places. Repeatedly. Every couple of minutes. Even if you're trying to solve a puzzle. Stop spawning! I'm trying to open a padlock! I'm getting sick and tired of this shit. Die! Yeah, after it does that about 3 or 4 times in a row, it stops working. For the rest of the game. Not only does the game overuse, yeah, that, but it brilliantly adds tension with the music as you explore. Or at least, it builds tension for as long as it takes for you to realise nothing has happened for the last 5 minutes. And then it loses its sting and gets a bit boring. Again, because open world, there are some collectibles scattered around, the manuscript pages of course, lunchboxes, and nursery rhymes, which are kinda creepy. It's way better than picking up coffee thermoses, I know that. At first I thought the game was stingy with its ammo drops. Well, it is, and it isn't. Sometimes I was picking up 2 or 3 pistol bullets at a time. Sometimes I even tripped over a container containing nothing at all. The fuck? But later on I had enemy encounters in the semi-open world area, and I noticed the enemies dropping ammunition. It's at this point I realised the game adapts its pickups to match your needs. If you had very little, it gave you some. If you had a surplus, it stopped giving you stuff. I wish I'd have known that sooner, because it took me 15 hours to notice. See, I've been avoiding going into some of these places because the game has a nasty habit of spawning in random invaders. I'd quite like to see what Billy's boatyard is hiding, but thugs and wolves! Oh, god damn those furry bastards! I like poking my nose into every nook and cranny, but my shortage of bullets was discouraging me from exploring. Also, goddamn those fast-moving ones as well. The combat here is not built around speed.
Together with our house band, the Divine Old Gods of Asgard, we have created something very special. The song is called Herald of Darkness.
What the hell?
I'm not spoiling this bit. The internet's full of spoilers already. I'm not adding to it. By the way, this was fucking awesome. You know the bit I mean.
Hey, Casey. What's the Forest's favorite shape?
Please, Anderson, just one case without the
A triangle.
I don't get it.
Yes, you do.
Besides getting annoyed at the ammo drops, there's the Cauldron Lake battle. And it was massively pissing me off to the point where I actually really did develop a real headache after several failed attempts. I kept on trying to stand my ground and win the fight. And you're not supposed to. You're just supposed to survive it. Could have done with knowing about both of these earlier. Don't worry about the ammo drops. The game already knows how much you haven't got. And don't try to win the Cauldron Lake battle. You just have to survive it. You'll notice that both of these issues I have are tied into combat. It's a good job they scaled back the combat for the sequel. It was never the series' strong point. And assuming you reach the end, you'll unlock the final draft. A new game plus, if you will. Some cutscenes are different, and I swear 1 or 2 of these pages weren't here the first time. And oh god, someone's nicked the shotgun! That's definitely moved. Oh wait, it's in my storage box. Never mind. I also experimented with turning the auto-aim off because that had been such a pain in the backside throughout the whole game. Turning auto-aim off makes shooting a lot easier because you're not wrestling with it for headshots. But because the camera shifts during a flashlight boost, no auto-aim actually makes aiming the light way harder. Like, cataclysmically harder. I was using 3 boost charges at times. Who the hell thought shifting the camera during aiming was a good idea?
Rest easy, buddy.
Completely honestly, I almost didn't make it through this one. It was the battle at Cauldron Lake that nearly did it for me. Combat has never been the series' strong point. I'm glad it leans more into horror and investigation this time. Some people won't like the shift, I suspect, into having to find clues and piece things together on a wall. I like it. The combat's fine, so long as you don't get swarmed. And then you find all the little irritations add up and start getting in the way of simple things like shooting. And I know it's called the Dark Place, but I hate it when I can't see what's going on. The real world isn't much brighter, to be honest. The town's name has always been deliberately ironic, hasn't it? I just wish I'd known about the adaptive ammo drops sooner. It'd have made the whole game a lot less annoying. The only real functional change I actually want is for the flashlight to not shift the camera angle when boosting. Looking back though, I think it's better than I thought it was. Pity I had to play most of it to figure that out. I don't know if they made the combat system deliberately slightly awkward or not, but it doesn't change the fact that it bloody annoyed me for most of the game. Once I started playing my second run, I kind of loosened up a bit and started to enjoy it a bit more. I had to finish the game before I started enjoying it. Properly, you know what I mean? The whole game, I mean. Not just that one bit. You know the bit I mean. It was weird. Anyway, that'll do for this review. What did you think? Leave a like or dislike down below. What did you think of Alan Wake 2? Have you played it yet? And how do you think it compares to the original? I think it is better. Leave a comment down below. And for those of you who can't get enough of my dulcet tones, you can always subscribe, ring the bell for notification, because that's a separate thing. Or if you want to inflict my irritating persona on someone else, you can always share instead. See you next time.